74 coming at you with another video. Before I begin, please subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. Hit the like button and leave a comment below. All right, so today I have a very special guest. I was thinking about this spiel a couple of days ago, but you know, you have Bert Sugar, Larry Merchant, Jim Lampley, Dick Shapp, Howard Cosell. You know, these individuals who are considered among old legacy media boxing journalists as some of the greatest to ever do it. Today is the generation of the rise of the social media influencer and the fan journalist. And there are some great ones out there, such as IFL, Ellie Setback, Fight Hype, Boxing Voice, etc. But then there's this brother, 78 Sports TV. I'm very excited to have 78 Sports TV. You know, many call him the general. He's the leader of the Lions Den boxing community. And I am glad to have today 78 Sports TV. What's up, bro?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm good. So I'm just going to get right into this because I know you're busy. I know you have things to do. So let me get right into these interview questions. So first of all, when did you fall in love with boxing?
Man, you know what? It had to be, well, I've been watching boxing since I can remember. So my father is a big boxing fan. My uncles, you know, the women in my family are big boxing fans. So it was natural for me to just fall into that. The early 80s, as far back I can remember with, I remember, you know, just sitting down. Every little boy want to be like his father, you know what I mean? My father would, you know, be sitting down with my uncles and his friends and stuff like that, and they'd be watching boxing, and all the kids would be outside playing and stuff like that, or in the backyard or whatever. And, you know, I wanted to be where my dad was at, so I saw him watching boxing, and I come over and I sit by him, and I'd be the only kid in the living room allowed to sit there and listen to their conversations and talk about boxing with them. So I saw all the reactions to the fight, you know, stuff like that, and I just, you know, I naturally took on those characteristics, and that's what shaped me, you know what I mean? In the same way a kid that's in a negative environment will be shaped by those same type of people, you know what I mean? But I was just happened to be shaped by the boxing fans, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So with me, it started off, man. I had an uncle that you know, it was my mother's like older brother. You know, he was just above my mother, and it started off with me, man. It was Sugar Ray Leonard versus Tommy the Hitman Hearns. I never forget it. I was 7 years old. Sugar Ray Leonard versus Tommy the Hitman Hearns. That was the fight that made me fall in love with boxing. What fight did it for you? What was the fight? The fight or the fighter that caused you to make boxing one of the loves of your life?
Oh man, if you're talking about I won't know the exact fight it was that made me say. I would say the fighter though, because I was watching boxing, but the fighter that made me fall in love with boxing for sure was Mike Tyson. Because when Mike Tyson, you know, came to the scene, and he came in so ferociously. You remember back in them days, they were showing like Mike Tyson highlights on like like on all the channels, man. Like regular TV, you didn't need cable. I mean, Mike Tyson, you just see him, this little bulldog dude, just knocking people out, man. And when he fought Trevor Berbick, I believe it was. I think when he fought Trevor Berbick, you know, I was so happy. When he became the champion and stuff. Like, I watched Mike Tyson's whole career, man. And Mike Tyson had me hooked on boxing, man, because it was like he had this menacing look to him, you know what I mean? Muscular dude, strong, knocking people out, you know what I mean? And he did it in such impressive fashion and quick, you know what I mean? Yeah. He was a shorter guy and stuff, and he can bob and weave, and he was like a type of guy you can like imagine yourself being him, you know what I'm saying, as a kid. You know, and Mike Tyson was the one who made me really fall in love with boxing, though.
Iron Mike looked the part and played the part. Like he looked like a gladiator. He looked like a straight up killer. So yeah, he looked the part. So here's a tough question right here. What do you think is boxing's biggest issue right now?
I think the biggest issue with boxing right now would probably be the fact that fighters today are not held accountable. They don't want to fight each other, and I think that the promoters being at war on a constant basis, networks, all the constant competition is causing there to be people to be disinterested in boxing. You know what I mean? Nobody, listen, man, if I say to somebody, oh man, I want to see the WBA champion fight the WBC champion, that's a good fight, at 160. Mm-hmm. And then I get hit with, that guy's with Top Rank and this guy over here is with the PBC, so that's not going to happen. Like, that's not my fucking problem. Like, I'm a boxing fan. Why do I have to hear this bullshit? You know what I mean? So that's the issue. I think the biggest problem with boxing, and along with the, you can name them, along with way too many belts. So you got the sanctioning bodies, I say, way too many divisions, way too many belts. So the sanctioning bodies, then you have the fighters not fighting each other, the promoters, the network beef and stuff like that. That's the main issue, I would say, with boxing. Because
like with the WBA, for instance, you have now they may have changed this, but I remember you had a WBA like international champion, a WBA interim champion, a WBA regular champion, and a WBA super champion. So it's like all of those belts under one organization, and then, there was a WBC interim, the WBC, the WBC champion, and then, they're very arbitrary with their rules. So that was one of the things that bothered me in terms of that. And then, of course, as you mentioned, these networks, these networks and these promoters using the fact that, well, we're with this network, they're with this network, we can't do anything. When we have seen in times past them work some things out. So what do you think the fans should do?
Well,
you as a fan.
Yeah. Well, I personally, I think it is the fans' fault. Yeah. Because I think that the fans have allowed this to happen, and we don't want to hold these fighters accountable. If the fans see, like anything else, if you affect their bottom line, which is the money, if you affect their bottom line, you can get change. Mm-hmm. But and that's basically one of the reasons why I started the LDBC was to attempt to do that. You know what I mean? But fans need to, if fans come together and they unify and they say, listen, okay, we're not getting the fights we want. Guess what? I'm not supporting no more of this dude's fights. I'm not buying them. I'm not giving them no TV ratings, nothing until these promoters come together and make this fight happen. If fans did that, and Joe Blow goes out here, he's a 2-division champion, but he's not fighting none of the best guys. He goes out there and tries to fight some bum, and nobody shows up to the arena, right? And nobody's watching on TV. They do horrible numbers. The networks start losing money. The promoters lose money. Guess what's going to happen? Hey, you got to fight such and such. You got to fight this. You got to make up some of this money. That's what's going to happen.
Can you give me an example of a fighter and a fight that the fans wanted to see, and these types of boxing politics got in the way? A perfect example of that.
I would say a couple of them. I can name Earl Spence Jr. versus Terrence Crawford. I'm sorry, let me turn this phone off.
Sorry.
I can name Earl Spence Jr. versus Terrence Crawford. I can name Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? That's one that really pissed me off because I thought that was an easy fight to make. Anthony Joshua was the IBF champion. Deontay Wilder was a WBC champion. And Anthony Joshua actually was a WBA champion too because he had just beat Klitschko. Mm-hmm. And they had, put that belt on the line for them. You know what I'm saying? Which, even though the belt was rightfully Luis Ortiz's belt, but whatever. So after that Klitschko versus Joshua fight, I said, man, I was so happy. I said, man, I was happy for Joshua. I was happy for boxing. I said, man, look at this, man. Look at all the people that came out to see this fight in the UK. This is huge. This is a great fight. So I said, hey, let's make Deontay Wilder versus AJ. Let's do that. So I thought everybody would be on board with that because we boxing fans, whether you like AJ or if I like Wilder, don't matter. I'm thinking we all gonna be on board. You want to see the best fight the best. So I told everybody, I said, hey brothers, let's push for that. Let's push for Wilder versus Joshua. You know what I mean? Let these brothers get some money. You know what I mean? And we get a unification bout. Yep. And man, I was surprised at the resistance I got from so many Joshua fans. Just thought we were picking on Joshua, or thought we was trying to what do you call it? Thought we were. You okay, brother? You talking to me?
No, I'm just like my internet keeps going in and out. Like my.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm just.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought that people would be on board for that fight, you know what I mean? All boxing fans. But instead, I found out that Anthony Joshua had a lot of fans that didn't really believe in him in the same way we believed in Deontay Wilder, you know what I'm saying? So, unfortunately, we didn't get to see the fight. And Eddie Hearn, the promoter of Anthony Joshua, was out here, postponing the fight and stringing fans along, talking about, building it up. It's like, dude, he just fought Klitschko. How far? What more building do you need? This is a huge fight, but promoters are greedy, and they figure, oh well, if it's worth $60 million now, and then hey, in 2 years it might be worth $250 million. That's how they think, and a lot of boxing fans help them along with that mess by continuing to allow Eddie Hearn to play these duck games and stuff like that. So that's where boxing fans have failed themselves. It's not personal, like if I'm a fan of a fighter, I want to see him fight the best. I think he can beat everybody. You know what I mean? I'm not here, I don't think he can beat him, so I don't want to see him fight that guy. Like, this is stupid stuff. You know what I mean?
And that's what kind of seemed like to me.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, that's what it kind of seemed like to me. And honestly, here's something that a lot of people may not know. I was an Anthony Joshua fan before I was a Deontay Wilder fan. What bothered me about the whole thing was that I clearly saw that Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn were avoiding Deontay Wilder. When I saw that, man, I was just like, this is crazy. I'm one of those types of people, man. I'm a boxing fan before anything. I follow fans. I follow fighters. I'm a fan of fighters. But at the end of the day, if I see that you, your promoter and your network, that you guys are going out completely out of your way to try to keep a fight from happening that me as a fan want to see, then, you really don't have my loyalty no more. I'm not going to be a fan of yours. So yeah, I really haven't watched the Anthony Joshua fight. The last fight I watched by Anthony Joshua, I did watch the Usyk fight, and then before that, I did watch the second Ruiz fight. But prior to that, I didn't watch any other Joshua fights until like Klitschko. After Klitschko, I didn't watch any other fight because they was trash. Right. So the next question. The next question I have for you. What made you become a YouTube uploader?
YouTube came a little different. It was I had actually I had just got out of jail in 2006, and I remember I was looking for old videos. I love music. I'm a big music fan, so I was looking for old episodes of Video Soul. It used to come on BET back in the day. Mm-hmm. And some of my boys was telling me, hey man, you gotta go to YouTube. It's a site called YouTube. They got all that old stuff. So I found it, YouTube, and I said, okay, so I'm there jamming it to music and listening to old watching the old episodes of different shows and stuff, and then I stumbled across like some documentaries and some lectures of people talking, in the conscious community and stuff like that. I said, oh, okay, so they got other stuff on here other than music. So I started uploading videos eventually, about the Black community and social issues and stuff like that. And I built a little fan base and support group. At that time, my pages kept getting shut down from YouTube, and I got tired of dealing with the politics of the conscious community. Just too much arguing amongst Black people, arguing amongst each other, and they ain't trying to get nothing done. So I said, you know what, let me come on here and talk some boxing, man, because I saw it was a boxing community online, but I said, let me come over here and talk some boxing. So it was around, I think, 2011. I started talking boxing, and so I brought a lot of my support from the conscious community over to the boxing, and they were supporting my channel and stuff like that. But the boxing community really didn't welcome me right away. They didn't welcome me because they had this whole little system set up to where they were, I'm just gonna say it, man, they was bullying the hell out of the Black channels. You know what I mean?
Yep.
There was a lot of Black channels getting bullied. I mean, I used to be disgusted at watching some of these dudes, man. Like they'd be talking about boxing, and then it trolls, like these little guys that come to the chat and, oh yeah, you N-word this and you monkey this and that, and oh, Floyd maybe, because this is around the time Floyd and Pacquiao still hadn't fought. So if you like the Black fighter, they was calling you a Flomo, a monkey, calling you this and that. So I used to be so upset watching these dudes allow this stuff going on in their comment sections and trying to be friends with people who totally disrespecting you. So they knew they couldn't do that with me. The trolls and stuff knew they couldn't do that with me. So they never liked me from the beginning. They knew I was different. So I was going to be a little rebellious than from what everybody else was doing. So, it was around 2011. That's what made me start talking boxing.
What's crazy about that is that I remember channels, they would completely change their content and just their tone just to appease to those trolls. And it was just a few trolls out there. It wasn't a lot of them. Yeah. So you're a humble brother. No, I've heard your voice. I heard your voice in this boxing documentary that was called Counterpunch, and I believe that documentary is still on Netflix. I brought it to your attention a couple of years ago, and so when I saw that, that's when I saw that new media has arrived, and in addition to that, your voice is relevant to the sport of boxing. So again, you're a humble brother. I heard your voice in a boxing documentary. And I've seen Billy Joe Saunders mention you. I saw during the Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury controversy, the media had no other choice but to cite you since Deontay Wilder gave you exclusive access. They could no longer say this guy on YouTube. Right. What do you think that old legacy media, do you think that they're threatened by you and the LDBC?
Oh, most definitely. They have been for a long time. The threat that, see, everybody has this nice little system set up to where the fans are the marks in this big con, right? The fans are the marks, you know what I mean? And, it all trickles down. The fans are the marks. So, the promoters, the networks, the fighters, everybody uses the fans and gets money from the fans, right? Now, as soon as one of the robots, one of the slaves starts to wake up and say, hey, wait a minute here, man. We ain't finna do it that way. We finna do it this way. You become a threat to them. They want to silence you and they want to marginalize you. And that's what they tried to do, to us. They saw that, we were coming in here and we had more influence than a lot of websites. We had more, we were the first, people were watching us like they watch ESPN, They come on in the morning, they listen to one LDBC channel, and then they finish. By the time they whole work day, 8-hour shift, they're listening to LDBC content. They saw that the networks and the promoters and stuff like that saw that. They reach out, you know what I mean, and they try to buy you, you know what I mean, try to buy me and stuff like that. You know what I mean, they ain't got enough, you know what I mean, they ain't got enough to buy me or buy my silence and stuff like that. And if they can't get me, they figure, well, any of those social media guys will do, and they'll go out and they'll start buying people around me and having those people turn on me, you know what I mean, and you know, and go rage against the machine and stuff like that, and try to same thing they do in every other aspect of war, you know, divide and conquer, you know. That's what they do. If they can't buy me, you know what I mean, for 70 grand, you know what I mean, then why not buy his friend for 5 grand? You know what I mean? It's pathetic, but that's what they do.
Yeah, it seems as if over the past few years, after seeing the success of YouTube boxing uploaders, various boxers, former boxers, boxing trainers, boxing journalists such as Teddy Atlas seem to have been given platforms seemingly in an attempt to silence you know, what you would call new media, you know, average Joe uploader. What's your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. I warned people this is going to happen. I told people a while ago that we had to get on board. We had to get on the same page. Even if we disagree with each other, we got to have a certain amount of respect for each other, because it's us against them. You know, you can't, if they see us divided and they see that people are taking so much stuff personal and these little grudges and stuff like this, then what's going to end up happening is they're going to come in here and they're going to see what we're doing, and they're going to try to steal it. They're going to try to do it for themselves. Because I remember a time where people used to laugh at my interviews and stuff like that. They used to, oh, this is so unprofessional. I remember I used to interview James Kirkland. James Kirkland was one of my favorite fighters. You know, I just loved his energy and how he fought, you know what I mean? But people, you know, I used to do interviews with him on the phone and post them on YouTube, and some people would take them and post them on Facebook groups and stuff like that. And I remember big wigs in the media were laughing. Like, oh, this is so unprofessional. This guy's talking to people on the phone. He's talking to people on the phone. I was the first person doing phone interviews. You know, now all of these guys do it. All these big channels and big media outlets do it. And they were saying, and they used to say stuff like, oh, you can't, you know, this guy you can't get no credentials unless you have a website and stuff like that and blah, blah, blah. YouTube, that's just a YouTuber. These guys are just YouTubers. Now every boxing website now is running to get a YouTube page, because they realize that this is where the fans are. The fans are on YouTube. You know what I mean? The fans are on YouTube. So that's what it is. So they come out here with, you see more and more fighters starting YouTube pages. You see trainers starting YouTube pages. You see other boxing minds starting YouTube pages now, because what they're trying to do is drown out our voices, and they want to be old media pretending to be new media. You see what I'm saying?
Yep. Yeah. You know, mainstream, you know, like mainstream. Yeah. So fighters, promoters, and even other reporters seem to be more responsive and reactive to new independent media, specifically the LDBC. Why do you think that is?
Well, because from what I've been told by several fighters, several of them for a long time, is that if you notice, when I interview with people, they're very comfortable with me. You know what I mean? And they tell me I get a lot of stuff out of fighters that other people can't get out of them. Same thing. That's how it used to be with James Kirkland. James Kirkland used to. Hello? I don't know what that is. It's like some echo or something.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah. James Kirkland used to come on and talk to me, and he was talk a different way. He would curse and say what he wanted to say. He would be himself. And I remember the old media used to say, "Oh, that don't sound like James Kirkland." They was actually accusing me of like having somebody pretend to be James Kirkland. Well, he doesn't talk like that. I talk to James all the time, and he doesn't talk like that. Well, he doesn't talk like that to you. He's not comfortable with you, okay? And people started getting jealous of that. You know what I mean? A lot of old guard. You know what I mean? But what was your exact question, bro? So I won't get sidetracked.
No. That was good. You know, you answered it. It was just that what other reporters, you know, fighters, they seem to be more responsive and reactive to new media, you know, specifically the LDBC. So who was your first interview?
I think my first interview, you know what? That's a good question. I think my first interview was Jerry Cooney.
Wow.
I think I interviewed Jerry Cooney. You know what happened too? It's funny how I got into the interviews because a guy who's a subscriber of my channel, my original 78 Fight News channel, a guy, he was in old media, and he was retiring. He was getting out of it. You know what I mean? And he had a list of like 100 contacts, promoters, trainers, boxers, and stuff. And he said, "Hey man, I'm a big fan of your channel, man. I like what you're saying." He said, "Man, I'm tired of boxing. I'm tired of dealing with all this stuff. I'm gonna give you my contacts, man, and I want you should really start getting into interviewing people, man. Blah blah blah." So I said, "Oh man, thanks a lot. I appreciate that. You know what I mean?" But he was just tired of boxing. I don't even know the guy's name. Nothing. He just emailed me and gave me all these contacts. So I said, "Man, this is crazy." So I said, "I'm not really an interviewer though. You know what I mean?" So I'm like, well, let me try it. You know what I mean? So I said, who am I going to call? And everybody was on that list. I mean, K9 Bundridge was on that list. It was so many people, man.
I remember him.
Yeah. And so I ended up calling Jerry Cooney, interviewed him about, his career and stuff like that. And people was hating on me. As soon as I interviewed him, they started hating. People they knew from there I was going to take off when I started interviewing. So people started hating and, calling me a sellout and, "Oh, you're a sellout, man. You interviewing fighters now." And like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? So, that's what happened, man.
But I think that's a good thing, to be able to interview fighters, man. I mean, that just shows that people respect your channel. And I also like, something that you said, that you made the fighters feel more comfortable, interviewing with you. They were able to be themselves. They didn't feel like they had to put on these masks and these facades, because a lot of those people from old media, they would go around and say something about their grammar. They would say something about how they talk. They will make fun of them. That's what they did with Mike Tyson. People even today, they talk with the lisp. You have memes with Mike Tyson making fun of Mike Tyson's lisp. So it's like those same people, man. So here's another. So who are or were your favorite people who you have interviewed, and why?
Man, you know what? Deontay Wilder for sure. Deontay Wilder is like Deontay Wilder to me, man. I love that brother so much because he's like family, man. Like if you ever have the privilege of just talking to Deontay Wilder and being friends with Deontay Wilder, man, this is a brother who really is everything that he says he is, man. And I'm really, I need to really stress that, like, because people ask me, man, why you go so hard for Wilder, man? Why you, and like, it's because Deontay Wilder is a real brother. Okay, this is not like for play. This is not like a facade he putting on. He's a real brother, right? He cares about his family. You know what I mean? Like Deontay Wilder could text me and be like, "Hey man, and we be talking about barbecuing or something, you know what I mean? Or something. It ain't always about boxing. He's just a real brother, you know what I mean?" And he started fighting for his daughter, you know what I mean? And every father can relate to that, you know what I mean? But he started fighting for his daughter, who had spinal bifida, and he said, "You know what? I'm finna go try boxing, okay, to make some money. I see all these guys on TV, Floyd Mayweather and them guys making money. Let me go try to box and see if I can make some money." Now, how many people gonna take that kind of chance? Most people would rather pick up a gun and go rob a store or sell some drugs. This man said, "I'm finna go get hit in the face and punch other people in the face and see if I'm good enough." And then, he was a grown man when this happened. He didn't have no boxing experience. Went up in there, went to the Olympics, won a bronze medal, come out, win a heavyweight championship after a few years, and then have 10 straight title defenses, one of the longest reigns ever. All right, that's like the American dream. That's what you need to make a movie about. You know what I mean? So yeah, Deontay Wilder for sure, and I would say Cornelius K9 Bundres. He another good brother. K9 Bundres is a good brother. I would say yeah, those have been some of the most solid boxers that I've interviewed.
And you also mentioned you were talking about Deontay Wilder, just what he did for the sake of his daughter, and just how, like, you know, that's a real man. I get in contact. I text back and forth. I try to, you know, about once a month to contact his boy Tay Jones, and
Right.
you know, just to see how you're doing. And so you can see, you know, just that realness, how these dudes are family men, how they really don't necessarily like being in the public spotlight like that. You know, they do it because it's just a means to an end, not so much as them just wanting to actually be, you know, in the private, you know, in the private spot, in the public spotlight.
Right.
They really just kind of want to be left alone. You know, like right now, Deontay Wilder, you hardly see him post on social media because he's a homebody, you know.
Right.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. This is a question I've had on my mind for a long time. How many channels estimated are part of the LDBC?
Official LDBC that pays LDBC dues, 270.
Dang.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, it's about 270 channels, and then from there you got a lot of supporters. You got a lot of LDBC supporters, but not official LDBC members. You know.
Dude, I didn't before I started, I'm like, yeah, you know, he probably got like 100, you know, I mean, I was thinking 100, but 270?
Yeah.
That's a lot. And then you say that they pay LDBC dues. So what's that?
Well, LDBC dues is, we have a website, LDBCsports.com, but people who want to be members of the LDBC sign up to the website, and you go over there and mix and mingle with the people, and, you know, post articles, post videos or whatever, and it gives us a way to keep track of who's claiming to be LDBC, and we know each other, because what happens is the LDBC got so popular so quick that so many people just start jumping using it, putting it hashtag LDBC in the titles of their videos, and then some of them is straight trash, misrepresenting what we stand for, and it's confusing people. They're like, hey, that guy LDBC, you know, they run around like starting stuff with fighters, causing beef and ruckus with people, and then people want to call me and say, hey man, I know you start the LDBC, what's up with this guy? You know, he started, you know, I'm like, I don't even know who this dude is, you know. So we were forced to organize what we were doing, because it got so big. You know, it was bigger than just, you know, 12 of us talking on the internet. It became huge to where it got to the point where people were impersonating us and stuff. So we had to organize it, you know what I mean? And then, you know, you have people coming in trying to use the LDBC's hype. They'll come in, pretend to be cool for a while, a couple of months or something. They'll use the LDBC and our machine and our support group to build their channel. And once they feel like they had enough support where they didn't need us no more, they would turn on us and betray us. And you know, people still doing that kind of stuff today. But so what I decided to do was, okay, nobody else is finna use us, you know what I mean, and come in here and, you know, build their channel and build their brand and get some credibility off of us. So I set it up to where you have to pay LDBC dues, $15 a month. You know, that's nothing. You got to pay $15 a month towards what we're doing. You know what I mean? And, you know, so if you run off and leave, then, you know, at least you were over here paying dues, and you help contribute, because we do a lot of stuff for people, for our community, a lot of people don't know about.
And I didn't realize, I didn't realize that's a real good way of doing that. One of the first things I noticed about the LDBC is that you guys had organized yourself kind of like television programming. It's like a TV guide. So it's like 78 Sports TV is at this point at this time. Trill Boxing Talk is at this time. This channel is at this time. I think that is a very good system, man. I mean, that's a real organized system. That's inspiring. Now, did you think that the LDBC would become successful so fast? Because it became successful really fast.
Well, to be honest with you, I knew I was going to start the LDBC. I didn't know. I wasn't very optimistic about how long it would last, because I understand my people, and my people are sick. You know what I mean? And we have this thing that, this self-hate amongst us is horrible in our community. And whenever a black man is trying to put something together for his people, it's always something, people who look like you that's willing to try to, tear you down, or badmouth you, or stop the process. So when I first started the LDBC, my closest people who I thought I was cool with the closest, they were the main ones against me. The people who I would go to war for on some boxing talk stuff, these people was the main ones against me, and they was iffy. Only requirement I had, I said, look, man, I'm tired of this stuff going on in the YTBC, all this racism and people trolling and stuff like that. I'm just sick of it, man. I'm about to start, because I had the Lions Den debates before. So I said, I'm going to start a Lions Den boxing community, and not the debates, but a community where I'm just going to remove myself from this YTBC stuff. I don't want to be associated with it no more. It's too much negativity. It's too much mess. So right away, I said, look, I'm going to block all of these troll accounts, all of these guys who've been around here for years, using the N-word, calling people monkeys and all this stuff, and got double standards for black people. I'm finna block all those people. I had people telling me, well, I'm not finna block nobody. I don't want to block nobody. I say, cool. Don't block them then. That's your channel. Do what you do. But don't fuck with me no more. Leave me the fuck alone, because I'm about to start something that I don't want to be associated with none of that shit, okay? So the remarkable thing is, I built a whole new team, bro. Because all my squad before, them guys, they wasn't fucking with me. They wasn't fucking with the LDBC. They didn't want to see me win in that situation. It's sad, but that's the truth. They didn't want to see me win. They would rather keep the old guard. And a whole new team, a whole new people came around and threw their support around me. And I love those brothers. I ain't never going to forget that. You know what I mean? They held me down. And I'm always going to have their back for that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Black Fight Fan. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the good brothers came around and really held it down, and that's how we started.
Black Fight Fan is a real good brother. I like him, man. He's a real good brother.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, you said to me in a previous conversation, and you kind of mentioned it in this interview, that the LDBC is like a brotherhood. In what way, without being too specific or mentioning any names, unless you want to, does the LDBC support one another like a brotherhood?
Oh, most definitely. Well, brother, within this LDBC, we like a family, right? The people who are really in the LDBC and don't come in here with an agenda to use us for subscribers or some mess like that, but for the people who really are with us, they know that they can call, they can email me if they have a list. For instance, some brothers will have situations where they have deaths in their family, okay, and they don't have proper money to bury. We get behind the scenes and we get the money together and we put what we have towards that. You know what I mean? Some brothers have situations where, they're in a bind, you know what I mean? They lost their job, but yet their child's mother is still harassing them for child support. You know what I'm saying? And their child support payment is X amount of dollars. Boom, we'll take care of that. You know what I mean? Now we don't allow people to abuse that situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's, you know what I mean? Because, you know, that's when people know you help, they'll try to abuse it. So we always on the lookout for somebody trying to abuse it. But, you know, it's been situations where, you know, brothers can't come up with their tuition for school. You know what I mean? And bam, we'll take care of that. You know what I mean? It's a lot of stuff we do, and that's where the loyalty comes from. That's where, like, people ride or die for the LDBC. It's because they know that. You know what I mean? Some people can't pay their rent. You know, they're in a bind, and it take a lot for a man to ask another man for help. You know what I mean? So
and you talk about men. You talk about men. It's very hard for a man to ask another man for help. Absolutely.
Yep. So when they do that, I understand. You know what I mean? And you know, if a brother going through a hard time or something, you know, and he's a little short or something like that, you know, you can definitely, if you paying in, you can definitely take out. You know what I'm saying? So we don't have no problem with that, you know.
So okay. So the LDBC, they're part of the media, and you are kind of like the founder of the feast, so to speak. You know, you the one who started the LDBC.
Right.
Why haven't you personally chosen to get press passes or ways to get into fights? Why haven't you done that? Even though you can.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people think I can't, but I can. I can do that for certain. It's politics involved, but you know, they basically want me to you know, they want me to kiss their asses and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Yeah. And because they know who I am, they know what I stand for, and I never wanted to do the press thing because I was doing something different. I was interviewing fighters from the comfort of my home, getting all the answers to the questions, right? The media has to quote me and quote the fighters from my platform. So one of the reasons why I didn't want to do go to the press conferences and go to the fights with the media pass is because now this is going. I want to make sure I say this the right way because I don't want to offend people. Yeah. But it's like, okay, who I was and who I am, it's not in my character to follow people around. You know what I mean? And if I see somebody, a fighter or a trainer trying to walk to go get them something to eat, okay, and they clearly don't want to talk to me, I'm not finna be chasing them around. Hey, yo, so you know, so what happened with this fight? You guys gonna fight? I just don't have it in me to do that, and I think certain people who know me on a personal level would lose respect for me if I did it that way. That's just not my thing. So I do it in a way which makes me comfortable and the fighter comfortable. You know what I mean? So we sit at home, we talk. Fighter might be in his garage, you know, smoking a cigar or something, and he could just chop it up with me like we friends, you know, versus me going to the fight doing it the other way.
And let me interject this too. I can't see Bob Arum calling you an effing moron or something and telling you to get the F out of his face. I can't imagine Bob Arum.
Right. It wouldn't work out good, and it wouldn't work out good at all. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I couldn't do that because I would probably embarrass the brand because I would have to respond to that being who I am. Yeah. I can't let that kind of stuff fly. But you know, so different. I'm gonna tell you. I don't care. I'm gonna say this. Top Rank. I'm gonna tell you what Top Rank did. One time I was one of the brothers had hit me up and he was complaining. A lot of brothers were complaining about the way they're treated at these events. From Top Rank, from PBC, all of them get the brothers who go out there and get media passes get treated real disrespectfully, and you know, so it's a lot of politics involved with that. So the brother was complaining to me that he wanted to go to, I think it was Terrence Crawford versus Jeff Horn fight. He wanted to go to Terrence Crawford versus Jeff Horn fight and stuff like that. And he wanted me to apply for it and then send him as a correspondent because he figured I, being a bigger channel, would have a better chance of getting it. So I said, okay, I'll do it for you, man. And so I applied for the credential, and then they denied me. So they sent me an email saying they denied me. So I told the brother, say, hey man, they denied it. So sorry about that. He said, oh man, can you 78? Can you just He said, I got the contact information to Evan Korn. He's the guy who's responsible for the credentials. You know what I mean? Could you just call Evan Korn and blah 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 and just ask him why. So once again, I'm trying to help this brother. I called Evan Korn. I said, hey, how you doing, sir? Blah blah blah. Told him who I was, and he said, oh yeah, I know who you are. Oh yeah, so you want some credentials? If you could have heard his voice, man, the way he was talking to me was like, yeah, Big Bad 78 Sports TV. Huh? Yeah, you want something from me now, huh? You want some credentials? Yeah, well, I'm going to make you crawl. I'm going to make you big. That's why he was talking to me. Like, it was ridiculous, man. The dude was like, yeah, so this is what I need you to do. I need you to write me a letter, write me an email expressing your desire to have me overturn my decision. And beg him. That's what he wanted, right? And so I said, man, you got me fucked up. I cussed him out. I said, man, you got me fucked up, dude. No way, because he said a lot of other shit too, shitting on my channel, shitting on talking about you a Wilder fanboy and all kind of stuff. Meanwhile, I'm trying to get a credential to support Terrence Crawford in his quest to become welterweight champion, and you telling me I'm a Wilder fanboy. This is how divided this shit is, right? So I cussed his ass out, and I told everybody what he said. Now he mad. So he hate me, Evan Korn. To this day, he hate me. He's been denying my version of this story, right? Even though I got it on tape, I recorded the whole conversation, right? But I never released it because I'm not petty like that. But I recorded it. So he denying this whole conversation. Oh no, he's lying, and that guy's lying, blah blah blah. But he goes to all these little media members and the black dudes at least, and 78, 78 Sports. Yeah, I don't like that guy. Yeah, that guy's a piece of shit. Yeah, that guy this and that, right? That's what he does, right? And most of them listen to him because he's the guy who passes out the little tickets and shit. So they so thirsty to go to the fight for free that they'll listen to that mumbo jumbo from this dude. But yeah, Evan Korn, that's what he does, man. It was totally unnecessary, uncalled for. I was trying to support Terrence Crawford. I was trying to help a brother out, get him a press pass, and this man just starts shitting on. It seems like you're a Wilder fanboy. Seems like you love the PBC. I'm like, what are you talking about? What does this have to do with anything? You know what I mean? Where's your Lomachenko videos? I don't see any support for Lomachenko on your channel. Crazy shit. So this is how they bully these guys into giving them credentials, but they wasn't finna do that shit to me. I'm not thirsty. I can go buy me a ticket. I know too many people that will give me. If I didn't have the money, I know people who could get me into the fight. So I don't need these little dudes with their little fake important jobs to. I don't have to kiss none of their asses, and that's why they hate me.
Yeah, and I saw that. I saw it. I've seen it, and I heard about certain channels not getting press passes because of their perceived view on certain promoters, certain boxers, certain networks. So I've seen that, and I've seen it, and I've heard it. Now, you mentioned something earlier about being a Deontay Wilder fanboy, right?
Right.
There's this narrative that the LDBC consists of a bunch of Wilder fanboys and black supremacists. In your own words, explain why you showed so much support. You mentioned this earlier, but explain why you believe your critics and detractors have this opinion about the LDBC. Because I remember I had told you about I was invited to this live stream, and there was this presupposition that I was part of the LDBC, and so they were calling me a black power person, a race baiter, black supremacist. So why do you have this opinion? Why do you think these critics and detractors have this opinion about the LDBC?
Right. Well, For one, it's because we stand up for ourselves, just like I did initially in starting the LDBC, getting away from the YTBC. The YTBC had guys running around literally making videos, supposed to be boxing channels, making videos talking about black people have low IQs and white people are actually better athletes and better and more intelligent. All this stuff is happening. So whenever you see people running around the internet saying stuff, calling me 78 IQ, 78 low IQ, that's where that comes from. It comes from that racist guy who's making videos saying black people have low IQs. And it was actually black people in his chat at that time. Yeah, it was black people in his chat trying to reason with him, trying to be cool with him, trying to talk boxing with him. I'm like, bro, what's wrong with y'all? You hear what this man is saying? The man is disrespecting your entire race. And you're sitting here trying to reason with this guy to talk boxing with him. Fuck him. You don't need to talk boxing with this guy. He ain't nobody to talk boxing with, right? So, like I said, I started the LDBC and we defended ourselves. So people who wasn't here at that time or cowards who didn't want to speak and defend black people or defend black boxing fans at that time, those cowards, now they have, after I done cleaned up the streets of all the mess, now you want to come outside and play. But first when all the monsters is outside, you hid, you peeked through your window and left me outside by myself to clean up all this shit. And when I cleaned it up, now you want to come outside and talk shit about me, and that's how these guys are, oh, you black supremacists, you this. I don't care. I don't care if they use some type of terms to me, because I understand why they're doing it. They're doing it because they're trying to put me in a situation to where I'll deny or feel like I have to kowtow to them or something. Oh no, I'm not this, I'm not that. No, first of all, I don't give a fuck what you think. I don't care what you believe. The only people who I need to impress every day is my children, my woman, myself. I don't need to come on the internet and prove something to somebody I never met before. Prove to you I'm a good person. No, that's a slave mentality, right? When I walk into a store and I see it's some random person, some random white person that's obviously afraid of me, some woman clenching her purse, you know what I mean? Because she's made an assumption about me. It's not my job. It's not my job to make her comfortable. I shouldn't have to lower my tone and make myself appear to be less threatening because she's racist. No, I'm going to be myself. You have a personal problem. Fix it your goddamn self. And that's what I tell these guys on YouTube. You know what I mean? So that's what this weird perception that we're a bunch of black supremacists, that comes from us defending black people when we were under attack. You know what I mean? That's where that comes from. And as for them calling us, Deontay Wilder fanboys and stuff, we were the only people supporting Deontay Wilder. I was supporting Deontay Wilder back in 2013 before he had a title. When people were calling, oh, that's just, man, I don't believe in him. He's just a heavyweight, man. You know how American heavyweights are. They ain't not going to make it, man. This the Klitschko era, man. These guys ain't going to make it. I was supporting Deontay Wilder back in those days. I was supporting Seth Mitchell back in 2012 and stuff, right? Way back then, like I was supporting all the American heavyweights, and Deontay Wilder, had built a relationship with him, and to where he's a down to earth brother, real cool brother. Watch his whole journey. He's a man with a dream, just like any of us. You know what I'm saying? A man with a plan who wants to try his best to accomplish his goals. You know what I mean? He wants to be undisputed. He wants to be the one face, one name. You know what I mean? That's all that stuff he says. That's what he really wants. And he's the only one that I've seen who really wants that. The rest of these guys care about politics, man. They care about, oh, well, how much money can I make from this? Or what can I do from that? Deontay Wilder is looking at this situation like, man, I want to be the best. I want to have all the belts, man. I want to do that and then I can retire. You know what I mean? And people don't want to see him accomplish his goals,
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like one of the reasons, like when we're as boxing fans, we have always supported a boxer because, you know, that boxer was black, that boxer was from your hometown, or, you know, that boxer was American. You know, your story related to his story. You know, that was the reason why we followed, you know, we were fans of people like Sugar Ray Leonard, Muhammad Ali, Marvelous Marvin Hagler. And it's like today, it's almost like blacks with firearms. People think that blacks with firearms is a bad thing. It's like we're being talked out of our right to bear arms. And so it's like we are allowing these people to talk us out of the right to be fans of boxers out of patriotism, because like we share the same skin color. You know, we're from the same hometowns. You know, they're black, we're black, and they act like that's a bad thing. Yet, you know, you have people, they're the Tyson Fury fans because Tyson Fury is a gypsy. Tyson Fury is from the UK. You know, Manny Pacquiao's from the Philippines. You know, Canelo was from Mexico. It's good for them, but it's bad for us. So what other interests besides what you do on social media, you know, what other interests do you have? What other things are you doing?
Oh man, I got a lot of different businesses I run. You know, I'm all around hustler. I don't believe in one income, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's one income is frightening to me. It's terrifying. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because I've had that taken away from me before. You know what I mean? And man, you know, so I told myself I'm never going back to them days. Never going back to relying on somebody else to feed my family. You know, having a job and you know and working hard and putting your all into a company, and then one day they feel like they don't need you no more. They can replace you or whatever. Now you gotta go home and tell your woman you don't have a job. You gotta look for another one and all this stuff, and you know you feel just degraded and disrespected. So I always said, you know, I gotta have multiple sources of income. So, and I feel like I gotta be able to pay my bills with all of them. You know what I mean? Yeah. Every one of them gotta be bringing in enough money to. If I lose one, I got this one. If I lose two of them, I got this one. So that's how I live my life, man. But I got a lot of different businesses I run, and I also do some real estate. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. I got some properties. I haven't really done nothing with new in real estate in a while. I've just been maintaining my properties and you know doing maintenance on them and stuff like that. You know, collecting rent. So yeah. You know.
So what other podcasts or channels do you have in addition to your YouTube channel? So shameless plug right now. What do you have right now going on other than 70? Yeah.
Oh man, you know I do Game Dog Talk. I talk about dogs.
I know about that one.
Yeah, I definitely love the American Pit Bull Terrier. So I do Game Dog Talk every Friday. I also have a Patreon. I have a Patreon / it's patreon.com/78 Sports TV. And over there, I give life lessons, manhood training to any brother who wants to come over and hear my story, or wants to tell their story, or wants to ask questions and want some advice. Because there's so many people out there. You'd be amazed at how many brothers are out there that are going through something and feel like they don't have nobody to talk to. You know what I mean? And sometimes giving somebody an ear, giving somebody a chance, a person to vent to, can save a lot of lives. You know what I mean? So I definitely talk to people and help them out any way I can. That's reasonable, you know what I mean? I've been doing that for a few years on Patreon, so it's definitely a good thing. I also have an OnlyFans, you know what I mean? That's for adult content, you know what I'm saying? Adult content, you know, me and a group of ladies, you know, we formed a team like Voltron, you know what I mean? So instead, you know what I mean? So we came together to get some money. So the OnlyFans is onlyfans.com/78 Sports TV. So most definitely.
Okay, here's another thing. The last time the Milwaukee Bucks won an NBA title was 50 years ago in 1971, right?
Wait, 1 second. I apologize.
Oh, no, it's fine.
I messed up my OnlyFans. Onlyfans.com/Money and Magic XXX, not 78 Sports TV. Yeah.
Okay. So the last time the Milwaukee Bucks won an NBA title was 50 years ago in 1971, right? That was like Lou Alcindor, Oscar Robertson, and they won their division in 2001, if I'm not mistaken. That may have been the closest they ever had years prior to winning the NBA title. And they lost to the 76ers and Iverson, right?
Right.
Now, 2018, they lost to the Raptors. Then there was 2019, 2020. How psyched were you when the Milwaukee Bucks won the NBA championship early this year?
Man, it was just, I'm still soaking it in. You know what I'm saying? I'm still soaking it in because it's been like in my lifetime, we had never won, you know? And, you know, so I'm sitting here as a kid, you know, watching, you know, the Milwaukee Bucks, and we had some good teams in the 80s. We had some solid, you know, decent teams in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? But that 2001 team, man. I thought that was going to be the team. I just knew. I put my all into that team, man. With Ray Allen, Sam Cassell, Glenn Robinson, Tim Thomas,
Big Dog.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Big Dog Robinson, man. You know, I thought we was gonna win, you know what I mean? Win it that year, you know what I mean? And they cheated us, man. Scott Williams was our bruiser, you know what I'm saying? Scott Williams got suspended for too many flagrant fouls or something like that, and we had no inside presence, man. And you know, 76ers dogged us that last game, but you know, it is what it is. But when we won this year, you know, I knew we would win once we beat the Nets. When we beat the Nets in the playoffs, you know, because it's looking like, okay, here we go. We're gonna have it's gonna be another year with a good team, and you know, we just can't put the pieces together. But the addition of Drew Holiday, his defense, his maturity, helped us so much. Not so much offensively, because you know, Drew, he was missing a lot of big buckets for us and stuff, but his defense was crucial. You know what I mean? And it was the perfect balance for us, perfect fit. PJ Tucker doing his thing, you know what I mean? And Chris Middleton hitting some big shots for us, man. And then Giannis coming into his own and really having that opportunity to really show the world what he can do. I was just like, man, this is the best shit ever, you know what I mean? Yeah. It was amazing, man. It was the best feeling I've had in a long time, man. I think I cried that night. I cried that night. Yep. Yeah, I think I cried that night, man. Yep.
So, how many pit bulls do you have, and why pit bulls?
Man, I have 4 here.
Okay.
Yeah, I have 4 here. Big puppies, you know what I mean? I love the American Pit Bull Terrier. I admire the dog's drive, his courage, you know what I mean? It's desire to please his master and be the best. So I love those dogs, you know what I mean? So I have the American Pit Bull Terrier. It's my favorite dog. I grew up with those dogs because my grandfather had the dogs when I was a kid. Ever since that's what I tell people all the time. You know, when I grew up, I had boxing, I had dogs. You know what I mean? Like when I would go by my mother's side of the family, they had pit bulls. So my grandfather I would spend the night with him, you know what I'm saying, by his house, and he would just take me through different manhood stuff, you know, fishing, and he'd be fixing stuff around the house, you know what I mean, and you know, he got me showing me how to use flathead screwdrivers and stuff like that, and go outside and feed his dogs, you know, all of that, changing the water buckets and putting new food in for the dogs. All of that, you know, cleaning up their mess, it was my responsibility when I went over there and just listened to his story. So I fell in love with the dogs, you know. I think the first dog I ever seen was an American Pit Bull Terrier. And then from there, I seen other dogs, of course. But, yeah, I fell in love with the American Pit Bull Terrier because of my grandfather.
Yeah, I heard Helen Keller. She had pit bulls. And then the Little Rascals, the TV show from back in the 40s, I believe.
Right.
They had Pete the Pup was a pit bull.
Right.
Those dogs, man, they're really good dogs, man. It was like one of the best pets we ever had.
Right.
So Next question. You always posting sandwiches and pizzas. Like, what's your favorite restaurant?
Favorite restaurant in Milwaukee or just in general?
Your favorite restaurant, like in Milwaukee in general, and then what's your favorite food?
Favorite restaurant in Milwaukee is El Greco's family restaurant. Yeah,
El Greco's is a good spot. That's off Appleton, right?
Right, off Appleton. Yeah, that's. I love that spot, man. I've been going to El Greco's since like shit.
They get the late.
Yeah, that's the only thing about them. They jam packed. So
yeah,
you know, they jam packed all the time. You know, if you try to get in there right now, you ain't getting there. You know what I mean?
So just a few other questions. So top 5 boxers, like right now. Who's your top 5 boxers of this era right now?
Top 5 of this era, I would say. Are you talking about the best or my favorite or just whatever my standards is?
Yeah, your standards of the top 5 boxers of this era, like right now.
Okay, I would say Deontay Wilder, Floyd. I would call Floyd Mayweather what the last era. Would you call Floyd Mayweather part of this era?
You said who now?
Would you consider Floyd Mayweather part of this era?
Yeah, you can put Floyd Mayweather in.
Yeah, but I would say of this era, my top 5 fighters.
Let's say active boxers right now.
Active, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Floyd Mayweather. Deontay Wilder, Canelo Alvarez. I would say Earl Spence Jr. Contrary to popular belief, I actually like Terrence Crawford. I don't know why people think I don't like him, but I like Terrence Crawford, and I really want to say Andre Ward, but he retired now. So the 5th person, I struggle with this, man. I don't know who I would say for the 5th person, man. But I'll throw in say Tyson Fury. I'll throw him in there.
And then why I'm answering the door, but give us your top 5 boxers of all time. I'll be right back. But go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, no problem.
All right.
Top 5 boxers of all time. I would say Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Robinson. I would say Mike Tyson for the impact of what he had. Not the. It was just the overall effect of Mike Tyson. I have to say him. I would have to say Jack Johnson and Joe Louis.
Yeah, I'm doing an interview. All right. Apologize, man. Okay, so
all good.
Okay, so what fighter was the biggest disappointment? Like, what fighter were you excited about and they turned out to be a complete letdown? All time.
All time.
Yeah.
Man, you know what? I'm just gonna, fucking Chavez Jr., man. Man, I like Chavez Jr. in the beginning. I like the idea of him, right? I'm like, okay, this is the son of a legend. Man, this guy gonna be huge for boxing. He gonna be great for boxing. He's a big old dude. He's bigger than his dad was. I'm like, man, this is gonna be great. This is gonna be amazing for boxing. Man, this dude sucked, man. He sucked, and on top of that, he got no desire. He got no drill. He just. I mean, no. He's just horrible. He's horrible.
So,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I look back at when I first saw, I look back at the fight against. I'm trying to think of that fight. I want to say it was Andy Lee. When he beat Andy Lee, I thought that I was like, man, we got something here. But then, right. but man, Sergio Martinez schooled him, and it kind of seemed like after Sergio Martinez had schooled him, he just, you know, it was just downhill from there. So yeah, he was a huge letdown. Now, what fighter was the biggest surprise? Like, what fighter did you think was going to have an ordinary or less than ordinary career who turned out to be really good?
Man, fighter turned out to be pretty good, man, that I didn't think would be. I probably would have to say and it's still going on. It's not finished product, but you know, it's gonna shock you. But I would say Joe Joyce, man.
Oh yeah,
because this guy is just trash to me. You know what I mean? He's trash. Like, he's slow. He's super slow, and I don't know how this dude just hang around and win fights, man. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's really like nothing. Like, it's nothing special about him, man. He just, you know who he reminds me of, man? What's the dude? Sapp. The big dude Sapp that used to fight MMA.
Oh, Bob Sapp.
Bob Sapp. That's what he remind me of, man. He just a big dude, and it's like, how are guys losing to him? But you know, that size is huge. So what fight was the biggest letdown that, you know, it didn't live up to the hype, you know, you thought it would be better?
Mayweather versus Pacquiao. Mayweather versus Pacquiao for me was a big letdown because we had spent years arguing about this fight. You know what I mean? And then they get up in there, and I just feel like neither one of the guys put it on the line and really went out there and said, "This is my legacy. I'm going for it." You know, Floyd was focused on just outpointing Pacquiao and just making sure he won and stayed out of harm's way, and Pacquiao was afraid to take a risk that could get him knocked out. So it was pretty much a stalemate. Mm-hmm. And you know, so that fight was a huge letdown for me,
especially for the price.
Right.
Yeah, most especially definitely. For the price. What fight was your favorite fight, like all time?
Oh man, all time favorite fight is I would have to say Felix Trinidad versus Fernando Vargas. Even good. Though, I was a huge Vargas fan. Huge. I hated Tito. I hated Trinidad, man. I really did, because of what he did to William Joppy. You know, he beat the shit out of William Joppy, man. And he beat the hell out of William Joppy. But you know, Fernando Vargas, man, I liked his attitude. I like his swag, man. Fernando was for his people. He didn't care. He was an Aztec warrior, you know, and he just had that swag about himself, man. But you know, he lost to Tito, man, but it was a good fight, man. It was a real good fight. So I still watch that fight from time to time. I watch it probably once a year. I watch that fight.
Yeah, I find myself watching a lot of Fernando Vargas fights, man. His fights were very entertaining. Right. So last question. Who do you have for the fight between Shawn Porter and Terrence Crawford, and why?
It's funny, man, because years ago I picked. I remember I was debating some guys years ago when Terrence Crawford was at 135, I believe. And we were talking about Terrence Crawford being a big dude and how he can move up in weight. And they was like, man, Terrence Crawford, you know, he going to run up to 140, 147. I said, yeah, he can go through 140, 147, but I mean, he can go through 140, but when he gets to 147, he probably going to have a problem with guys like Shawn Porter, because Shawn Porter is a roughhouse, you know what I mean? And I'm just picturing Shawn Porter throwing Bud around, because, you know, Bud was 135 at that time. And Shawn Porter has fought, he's a strong dude. The dude has fought Usyk in the amateurs. He fought Danny Jacobs and stuff, you know. Shawn Porter is a strong dude. So I'm thinking he going to throw Bud around and stuff like that. But as Bud came to 147, and, you know, Bud is a strong dude himself. He's a strong dude. You know, he's deceptive. It's deceptive because he's skinny. You know what I mean? But he's a strong dude. He used to wrestle and stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting, man. But I have Shawn Porter winning on points. Because Shawn Porter always fights everybody close. Him and Keith Thurman was debatable. People will say him and Kell Brook, you can argue, was debatable. Him and Earl Spence is separated only by a knockdown. You know what I'm saying? So he pushes everybody to the limit. You know what I'm saying? Him versus Ugas. You know, he pushes everybody, and it's debatable on who won. I think this could be the opportunity. I mean, the one fight where he actually does get the decision. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Bud won though, because Bud is that talented. You know what I mean? So I'm not picking Sean saying that Bud ain't shit. I mean, Bud can easily. I think he's capable of beating Sean Porter if he's on his A game. But I'm gonna stick with my original pick. You know what I mean, which was Sean Porter.
Okay. Yeah, I have Sean Porter too. I think that Sean Porter. I think that smothering, roughhousing style, and especially his level of talent. You know, like kind of like Sean Porter being the upper echelon of the welterweight division. I haven't seen Terrence Crawford go against that type of talent before. Ever at no point of his career, I haven't seen Terrence Crawford go up against that talent. So this is going to be the first, at 34 years old, man, this is going to be the first real test of Terrence Crawford's career, where as opposed, Sean Porter has faced these tough challenges, has faced, people at the level or, arguably even above the level for of Terrence Crawford, especially during the last few fights of his career. So I kind of have Porter. I'm choosing Porter, but at the same time, I wouldn't be too surprised if.
Hello, can you hear me, bro?
Yeah, I hear you. You hear me?
Okay, I hear you now. I came back.
Okay, so I appreciate your time, man. I appreciate you taking out your time to do this interview with me. And we appreciate you, man. We appreciate the LDBC. We appreciate your contributions to new media. We appreciate your contributions to the sport of boxing. And honestly, man, to at least to me, you go down in the history books, man. I'm serious. Like the contributions you made to boxing, man. I mean, it's awesome. So again, man, thank you for your time, and looking forward to talking to you later, man.
For sure, brother. I want to thank you so much for the interview. I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for the kind words, man. You always been a solid brother, man. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
So I appreciate you, man. I'll be here whenever you need me.
All right, thank you. All right, take care, man.
All right, peace, brother.
All right, peace. All right, guys. So thank you guys for watching. Leave your comments below. 78 Sports TV, ladies and gentlemen. Holler at you guys later. Again, if you like this video, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Holler at you guys later. Peace.